Good afternoon, students. Welcome back to RV online classes. Today I am handling your 4th standard social studies and your 8th chapter, that is Natural Resources of India. So in the previous session we have learnt about the renewable resources. So there are two types of natural resources. First one is renewable resources and another one is non-renewable resources. So we were discussing about the resources in our previous class. So what are those renewable resources? So renewable resources are nothing but the natural resources which can be replaceable, which cannot be used completely. They are inexhaustible. They can replace themselves very easily. Some of them, there are some of the important natural resources like what are those? Yes, like we have land, forest, sunlight, water, wind. So these are the some of the natural resources which are inexhaustible. So we started discussing about the water, sunlight, air, so as well as forest, wind, and the animals and soil. So in our previous class we discussed that the water is the major thing that is very much needed to live in this planet Earth. So among the four part, so I hope you remember, think it as a word. Among these three portion. So this three portion our Earth contain water. Only this 1% or 1% we have land there. All this three portion we have water. Among that only less 11% of fresh water we have. All the other water what you find on the earth, that is salt water. The sea and the ocean water is present on the earth. It is the very necessary thing to live on the planet earth. Every living thing needs the water. So as well as we discussed about the sunlight. Sunlight is the inexhaustible natural resource. So it is very much which provides us the vitamin D, also give us light, warm. We feel warm now when there is a sunlight. So this sunlight is very helpful for the plants for making their food. So that the food processing of a plant is called as photosynthesis, which is done with the help of sunlight. Then the sunlight is also used as solar energy. The energy that is released from sun is called as solar energy. We can use it as a solar water heater, solar cookers, and we can also use those solar energy in the cars. Yes. So this that is also very useful. As well as windmills. The wind, whatever the movement of the wind, it depends. So that will helps to move the windmills. They can produce water as well as current according to this windmills. So also I have told you about the water, no? In your first class when we have started this chapter. Yes. The electricity which has been produced from the water is called as hydroelectricity. It is the energy released from water. So also forests are the rich and very much essential source of plant and trees, animal and soil. It contains all of this together. Forests are much more needed for us and it provides food as well as wood, then bark. So many things we can get from the forest. Even if there is a fair amount of water is there means that is because of the forest only. And as well as animals. These animals are also natural resources. They replace themselves by reproducing. I hope you all learned in that reproduction in your science classes. So it also provides us milk, egg, meat, and the leather, that everything we get there. And the soil. This soil is a topmost layer of the earth. So it is very essential to grow the plants as well as it is useful to ourselves also. Then next one we are going to discuss today, that is non-renewable resources. Till now we have learned the renewable resources which can be completely, which cannot be completely used up. So here this is a non-renewable resources, the next topic. Non-renewable resources. So the name itself tells that the non-renewable resources means the resources which can't be replaced. We can't replace them. So we should use it in a limited way. So non-renewable or inexhaustible resources will run out, will not be replenished for the thousands or even millions of years. So here these non-renewable resources, they can't be replaced almost even in the millions of years also. If you seek for them for a million years, you can't get them. So their supply is slowly getting over. Whatever the non-renewable resources present on our earth, especially in our country, they are getting slowly finished. So they can't be replaced. They're getting over. So most sources of the non-renewable energy are fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are the major non-renewable resources. Fossil fuels. So I hope you remember what do you mean by fuel. Fuel is nothing but which can be used in a vehicle and which can be helpful in the other things also. So these fossil fuels, which include coal, petroleum, so formed from the remains of plants or animals. So fossil fuels are nothing but the petroleum you get, no, where you use for the vehicle, for the cars and the bikes, you use this petroleum, no, as well as coal. I hope you remember these coals were used for the sake of train in the train engine. This coal will be used, and for other reasons also the coals are used. These two are the some of the fossil fuels. They are getting over. They are in a limited stock, but these are made up of remainings, the remaining things of plants and animals. How these fossil fuels are formed? These are the remains of plants and animals. Plants and animals. So, have you ever wondered, students, that what happens to an animal if it dies? So some days, some of the animals will eat them, but some of the parts, the bones like parts, they'll be remaining like that only. So when you leave like that only for a, can't see anything there. That will be get mixed up with the soil. So these, some may mix it up with the soil, some may remain like that only. So all these remaining get together and they form into a non-renewable resources and some of the fuels like coal. So all the remaining things of the plants and the animals, they get formed together and they form these fuels. They are called as fossil fuels. These are the remainings of these animals and plants. So they were created as the remains of creatures decomposed million of years ago. So under a huge amounts of pressure and heat, most fossil fuels are burned to produce energy and electricity. So all these remaining creatures of animals and the plants, they're getting decomposed. If you leave like that only means, if you don't bury them means, you can see that they are decomposing. Even it is a plant, if it died or we cutted it means, we'll throw it outside, no? So if we don't bury anything means, we can easily see how it is decomposing. So when it keep on decomposing for years, for so many years, what happens? It forms into the fossil fuel. So when we take that fossil fuel and we use it for forming the electricity, and we produce the energy by burning those fossil fuels. By burning those fossil fuels, we can release the energy and the electricity from those fossil fuels. So hence we should use them very wisely because they can be completely used up and there will be nothing for the future generation. So we should use them very wisely. The first one, the fossil fuel, that is coal. It is a non-renewable resource. Coal. Yes, friends, it is one of the most useful non-renewable resource. It is used for many purposes like cooking, producing electricity, and for heating. And it is used in both homes as well as industries. So machines and vehicles also run coal. So see here, there is a lot of use from the coal. So we need coal for so many things. But almost the necessary things like cooking, producing electricity. So without coal, there will be a less electricity to us. It is a major cause that we can produce the electricity. This plays a very important role in producing electricity. So it is also useful non-renewable natural resources found in our country. So we can use it for cooking also, we can use it for heating also. This coal is used in both home and industry. It can be used in home and industries. And it is used in both vehicles and machines. Vehicles and machines. It can be used in homes as well as industries, and it can also be used in both machines and vehicles. Then the second one is petroleum. Second one is petroleum. Petroleum. So it is the one more important non-renewable resource. So which is a oil. This is in a liquid form. So whereas coal is in a solid form, it looks like somewhat your stone. How you can see the stone now outside. So the coal is similar to that, but is black in color. The coal is somewhat to the stone structure. It doesn't have a or current structure. So whereas this petroleum is a liquid, it is in the liquid form. This fuel is in the liquid form, which can be found under the surface of the earth or under the seabed. So where can you find this petroleum? So first, where you can find the petroleum? Under the surface of, first one, under the earth surface, and you can also find it under the seabed. Under the seabed. Seabed in the sense the deep inside of the sea. In the deep down of the sea, you can find this petroleum liquid, so which is a non-renewable resource. So it is source of fuels such as petrol and diesel. So this petroleum is a main source of petrol and diesel. So we all are familiar with these two words, petrol and diesel. So in your daily life, you will hear these names. Your father will bring to the school, no, by running vehicle, own vehicle. It may be a car or a bike, or you may come by van or auto. How all these vehicles are running? On which fuel they are running? Maybe diesel or a petrol. So this petrol or a diesel, they plays important role in running these vehicles. Without those fuels, the most of the vehicles will stand still. Then petroleum is a rare natural resource as not many countries in the world have a petroleum reserves. So what do? When they get this petrol and diesel, they reserve it. Reserve in the sense they save it for the future generation. They won't completely used up. They are using it wisely. Hence there will be a helpful for the future generations. The world petroleum reserves all over the countries. In every country, in some of the countries, they have the petroleum reserves. So it is also called as liquid gold. The petroleum is also called as liquid gold. Liquid gold. So why do you think they call them as a liquid gold? So why people call it as a liquid gold? Yes, just now I told you, it is the very essential fuel. So every vehicle uses this petroleum as well as the diesel. So from the petroleum only, these both liquids are getting extracted. So Bombay High is in India is a petroleum reserve. So our country also have a petroleum reserve. So it is called as Bombay High. So Bombay High is the petroleum reserve of our country. So metals like iron. So the next one, the next non-renewable resource is metal. The next non-renewable resource is metal. So metal. So I hope you all are familiar with the one particular metal. Yes, that is gold. So many types of metals present on our earth. They can be found under the surface of earth. So these metals like iron, bauxite, copper, they are useful natural resources. So use it to make many important objects of daily use. So among this, iron, bauxite and copper plays an important role in producing the things which are helpful in our day-to-day life. So so many things, your school bench, what it is made up of? It is made up of iron metal. So this metal is also what it is? It is a non-renewable resource. So today or some other day, this thing will be completely used up. It can't be replaceable again. So we should wisely use them and we should recycle it again and again. So they have given your do it yourself column as always in your chapters. So there are the picture here. You can see there are 5 pictures they are given here. So name the natural resources that are used to make these things. So all these things what you are observing here. So they are made up of natural resources which may be renewable or non-renewable. Just you have to name the natural resources which were helpful for making these man-made things which are present. The first one is airplane, then the second one is table, third one is a leather bag, fourth one is book, and the fifth one is a pot, a mud pot. So from which natural resource all these things have been made, you have to answer to this question. So I hope you all understood this renewable resource as well as non-renewable resource. So we'll complete in this chapter in your next class, friends. I hope you understood. Thank you for now.